All right, done.
Thank you. Peace and blessings, everyone. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I am excited because I've been waiting for this for a week. This series is really, it's really refreshing, and it just excites me because I think everyone on here can become a millionaire. And before I share with you what I want to share with you, I want to get just a little bit spiritual here, because when I think about spirituality, I think about what things and sayings and spirituality that affects us, because guess what? It can affect us from becoming a millionaire. One of my good friends, Albert Einstein, said that education is not just the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So that means kind of thinking outside of the box. And I think to become a millionaire, you do have to think outside of the box. Now, the scriptures tell me that as a man or woman thinketh, so are they. And to become a millionaire, you have to think like a millionaire. You have to walk like a millionaire. You have to talk like a millionaire. You have to dress like a millionaire. You have to do all these things. So I've heard Carolyn say many times, you have to put yourself in the place of these people in order to get there. And the other thing is that when you think about that, it's really motivating to do that. So what I want to share with you before she makes her presentation, and the reason I want to share this with you, because it's one of the biggest things that will keep you from becoming a millionaire, and that's negative people. We've talked about being around, having the people around you and being around certain people. Carolyn has mentioned it many times. You have to be careful of that. See, because most people think negative people are people that commit crimes and do all types of things like that. But really, the negative people are not the ones with the, with the guns, actually. They're not the ones that hit with clubs. And when you think about the thief, the thief actually won't attack your character traits, but what a thief actually will do is say, they'll say things that will threaten your will to win. And guess what? It's probably going to be a well-meaning friend. So, because see what the thief and the robber, they don't rob you at the point of a gun. They simply say that it can't be done. And you've probably heard that from family, friends, associates. Nah, that can't be done. You can't be no millionaire. Well, see, when you and then what they'll do is they'll point to maybe somebody they know that's already a millionaire, and what they'll say is that they're superior than you by far. But that's not necessarily the case, because personality-wise, and the ability that you have, if you let them affect that, they're already ahead of what, they think you can do or what you can do. So you want to kind of flip that and see, because it matters not if this is untrue. I'm talking about what they are thinking about you, because if you feel that way, then what you're saying is that you feel that others surely know you. And who knows you better than your creator and yourself? So if you let these things happen, what'll simply happen is that you'll be robbed of your dreams. You let a negative person rob you of your hopes to succeed. And then what happens then? You're robbed of the material blessings that you can receive. And becoming a millionaire is a big material blessing. So the other thing is that you even robbed of your faith that says that you can, because you have to say that I can. And if you let that happen, then you're so robbed of an ignorant, gunless friend. See, they don't bring the gun, it's the words. As I say, words are thoughts and pictures. And, terminology and perception that has to make sense. So what I'm saying is that the terminology that you use, it has to make sense to other people, or you can't get them to follow you, or you can't get them to understand. So you have to be careful in the direction that you're headed because you might end up there. So what I'm saying is simply this, that the deadliest of men are not the ones with the gun, but the ones who tell you that it can't be done. Those are the deadliest ones. And finally, that which is, taken by burglars, guess what? You can get that again. But who can replace your will to win? So you have to have that will to win and don't allow negative people to affect your mind, your spirit, and the things that you're trying to do. So that's why I'm so excited about this series, because when you think about what I've just said, if you put that in place and in your mind and let it get in your spirit, there's nothing that can stop you from becoming a millionaire. And as I say all the time, change that up. Peace and blessings. Back to you, Carolyn.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those wonderful words of wisdom, Mark. We always look forward to hearing some of your wisdom that you have, and we know that it's always going to be good. So we're going to get started right away here with this Millionaire series. Mark says that he was looking forward to Monday, to hearing what was coming next, and just as he was looking forward to Monday, I was looking forward to Monday as well. I want to give you guys a testimony right quick before I actually go into the series. Since I have been doing this Millionaire Project Series seminar, it has been a life-changing experience for me. I'm finding that I'm feeling better in terms of me feeling more upward, more uplifted, more positive. I am finding that things are coming my way a lot easier. It's almost as if I have gotten out of my own way. Finding that my health is better because I'm finding some changes that I'm making unconsciously in my diet that is making a difference in terms of how alert, how bright my mind is. It's like my mind now is like a sponge, and it's just soaking up this knowledge and this information and this inspiration that I'm receiving. I found that I don't watch TV that much anymore. I might look at it maybe for an hour, if it's that much. But most of my day is spent in study, in receiving inspiration. It's almost as if I have an insatiable appetite. And the more I hear, the more knowledge that I get, the more I feel like I want. And in the process of all of these things happening, I get a chance to share it and share it with you all. And that's one of the other great benefits of this path that I had chosen. Because in the process of sharing it, I know that you guys, there are those among you guys that will experience rewards just as great or maybe even greater than I'm experiencing. So I'll give you an example. The other day, yesterday, I had a tree fell on my house, one of my big, tall pine trees. And of course, we had a storm on Thursday morning and it rained a lot. But yesterday, it was a really beautiful day. So I guess I thought I had escaped this tree falling phenomena that occurs in Georgia when we have heavy rains and flooding, as we did on Thursday morning. And I had noticed that, it was just such a beautiful day. And so most of the time I spent a lot of time in my room in the back of the house. But today, that day, I just something spiritually, I believe I say that it's unction of God that told me to come into the living room. Well, about 2 hours after I came into the living room, this big, huge tree just boom, fell on the house and it just shook the house, shook the earth. So much so that all the neighbors came out of the house and they were looking like, where is this sound coming from? And they saw the tree. And it really made me, I'll tell you what happened. The reason why I'm giving you this testimony is because it made me realize the seriousness of life. Because it could have easily been that I would not be here before you today talking about becoming a millionaire. It could have easily been me in that room where the tree hit. Now, luckily, the tree did not penetrate the entire house, but it caused the ceiling to fall. And so I could have been in a path of danger were it not for the grace of God. But what that did for me, after I finished getting a little shook up from the situation, I realized that, life is not promised to you from day to day. Life is not promised to me 10 years from now. I don't know how long I have to live. And I'm not saying this to be morbid, but I'm saying this to be realistic. And it shook me into understanding that I needed to make wise use of the time that I have presently and how important this mission is to me to do. I need to put my best in it, how important it is that I need to present and find all the best advantages that I can have to share with you guys, because I want to be able to give you all the advantage. I want to be able to help each and every one of you to become millionaires. That is my mission. That is the mission of the Dynamic Trio, and it is a serious one. And so with that experience, I thought I was as serious before that happened, but I'm really serious now that I have understood and committed myself to doing as much as I can to give you guys the food that you need so that you can become serious using the Dynamic Trio platforms and using your own gifts and the talents that you had. And I know that if I can do this with success for as many of you as possible, then to me, that would make my life worthwhile. So as you see, I have before you on the screen, make your contribution, mark your mark. And what that means is for you to write down what it is that you really want to contribute. What you want to contribute to this $35 billion crowdfunding industry. What do you want to share that's worth $35 billion? And I'll tell you, the reason why I'm using that $35 billion figure is because right now, the Dynamic Trio is in the crowdfunding industry, and the crowdfunding industry has produced over $35 billion in revenue. Those people who are utilizing this source of fundraising. And in the year 2025, they expected to reach 300 billion. And so each one of us, there's so much that each one of us, it's like when you think about 300 billion, and then you think about we're asking for 1 million, you know, I thought about it today. I said, you know, maybe I'm shortcutting myself. I should really be talking in the billions because it's not impossible, because it's prosperity and abundance is unlimited. But the key into this is that we got to get serious. Life is a serious matter. Your future is a serious matter. Your family is a serious matter. And so we have to really buckle down and say, okay, what is it going to take for me to become a millionaire? That is the question. And I'm going to talk about questions that we are going to ask and phrase, because one of the things we heard Anthony Robbins say in his presentation was that we had to be specific. Ask and ye shall receive, but ask in clarity and ask in a positive spirit, not in an angry spirit, not in a resentment spirit. And one of the things that we have to realize is when we don't exercise control over our emotions, we can cause ourselves to lose momentum in our mission to become millionaires. You can't put a positive in the same space as you put a negative. It's got to be either one of them that occupies that space. Either your mind is positive or either your mind is negative. You can't, both of them cannot occupy the same space in the same time. But what we have to learn how to do is get control over our emotions. And so anger and guilt and I'll say unforgiveness and all of these things have an effect on our ability to channel wealth. Now, I know some of you may not believe that. Some of you say, well, how can one have something to do with the other? Because it's what's in you. When you understand that wealth in the first place is a mindset, it starts in your mind, it starts in your imagination, and it's channeled with your emotions and your desires, then you can understand when you're flooding something else through that is not of positive descent, then what you're doing is you're detouring yourself from your path of wealth. The attraction that you need in order for wealth to come towards you is being blocked. That's the reason why it's not good. That's the reason why forgiveness is necessary, because it's not always so much as what is needed by that person in terms of forgiveness. It's really for you to keep your channel clear so that you can channel through and become a magnet for all those things that are good for you, as well as wealth. So we're going to talk about these things, but in order for you to claim, we're going to talk about how you can claim your share of this $35 billion industry before year 2025. We want you to be well inset before that big industry boom hits. And right now we're going to close to what, the end of year 2020, because this is the end of September. We might as well say we're in October, and it's October, November, December. We have 3 more months left in this year before we start and embark upon a new year. What have we accomplished for this year 2025? And you sit down and you write down the things that you've accomplished. Have you accomplished any of your goals? Are you closer to any of your dreams and manifesting any of them? Take a look at that, because for the year 2021, we want to be not making a fast start, but we want to be in a momentum of becoming millionaires. And that's what this is all about. We're giving you a head start to the incoming year 2021. You're getting set up. You're setting up your foundation. So in terms of what it's going to take for you to get a grasp, what it's going to take for you to get a share of that $35 billion industry, we're going to listen to a little bit of what Jim Rohn has to say. This is a pretty long, but this is a full audio book, but this is a speech that Jim Rohn made to Herbalife. Many people don't know, but Jim Rohn was an Herbalife distributor. But he spoke to the Herbalife people at a major convention. And it was a powerful speech. And so as you listen to this, I want you to transpose and think about when he says Herbalife, I want you to think about the dynamic trio. And imagine that he is standing before us right now, speaking to us about the dynamic trio. This is Jim Rohn. Okay, now we can get started.
Here's how to really cash in on this year. Number one, get serious. Life is serious. We call it life or death. Somebody asked me one time if I had a good description of life. I said, yes, I think I've got a good one. Life is the struggle to keep death at a respectable distance. Right? Death seems to want to move in prematurely. If you want to live a good, long, flourishing life, you got to push back. You can't just give in. You got to push back. That's what these products are for, to help you push back. And we're dealing with some serious matters here. So we can't just, tell the latest 10 jokes and just go home. We're not here to entertain. We're here to instruct. We're here to grow. We're here to learn. We're here to get the best we possibly can. Serious. Life is serious. The future is serious. One ancient novelist said, these are the best of times and these are the worst of times. And for some of those who came across this platform at the extravaganza, $1 million a year incomes, for them, it's the best of times. But I want you to know that while they're getting the diamonds and the millions, there are a lot of people around the world, for them, it is the worst of times. The best of times and the worst of times. That's called serious matter. How come such a difference from those who can reach such incredible heights and those who haven't yet found the answers for their life and their health and their future? We just have to ponder that and let that give us a note of seriousness, a note of seriousness. It's serious whether you win or lose. It's serious whether you succeed or fail. It's serious whether you've got a good future carved out for yourself or you do not have. These are serious matters. Matters of the heart are serious. Matters of income are serious. Matters of supporting your family, serious. That's why Herbalife, this is about the most serious company I've ever been around in my 33 years of executive lifetime. I've never met anybody more serious. We used to have in sharing the product story, right? Had the button lose weight now, ask me how. And somebody says, how? Our first words were what? Are you serious? Why? We got a serious matter here to discuss. We haven't come with the latest 10 stories. We've come with a serious matter. And I want you to take on that serious tone. You've got some serious products that answer a serious need out there in the marketplace. And I'm asking you to take it serious. Take your own future serious. What you can do for your family, take it serious. This is serious business. So that's the first thing I want to bring to you. To have the best year ever this year, help contribute to the 400 million, take your piece of the 400 million. I don't know how much of that you want. It's really not that much. For 400 of us, it's only $1 million. For 400 of us, it's only $1 million. For 800 of us, it's only $500,000. $500,000, that's almost getting to be ridiculous. For a lot of people in this room, $500,000, and I don't know what piece of that 400 million you want, but I'm asking you to seriously take on a piece of that 400 million so that you can say, I made my best and finest contribution to see that goal reached. Not just for the figure, but for all that the figure represents, for the healing it represents, for the restoration of broken lives that it represents, and people that are discouraged about their life and their chances, now encouraged on a new road, for all that that represents. 400 million. Take your share of the 400 million and let's get the job done. Take a piece of this and let's go for it. And then when we finish that one, we'll set another one. And when we finish that one, we'll set another one. And when they write the history books, they will say, those Herbalife distributors took on the responsibility, got out there, touched people's lives, and nobody's made a better contribution to the health of the country than the Herbalife distributors. Let that be our reputation.
Okay, let that be our reputation with the dynamic trio. Let's see how many people's lives that we can touch, how we can eradicate poverty. But these are, you see here, these 5 points before you. These are the points that Jim Rohn emphasized in his speech in terms of cashing in on your share. And he said this speech was done in 1992 for Herbalife. And so this, at that time, I guess the industry figures were 400 million for the multi-level marketing industry. But now we are talking about crowdfunding, just crowdfunding industry, and that's 35 billion. So imagine, you see, from 1990 here to 2020, 10 years, they've gone from 400 million to 35 billion. You can see how powerful this industry of multi-level marketing, affiliate marketing, network marketing is, and what it has done for people all over the world. Certainly Herbalife was a giant in the industry, which is where we are headed, to become a giant in the industry. But there are 5 points that he talks about in terms of how we can cash in. And I'm applying it to this $35 billion industry. One, as I mentioned it when I first started speaking to you, and that is get serious. And that's just what word that he kept using, get serious. Life is serious. Take it so. Get serious. Don't be nonchalant about it. Be focused with it. Because seriousness is what it requires for your brain to be laser beamed on what it is that you want for it to bring it to you. That's what it takes, seriousness. Your brain knows when you're serious and when you're not. Your brain knows when you're fluffing off and you could care less about a program and about a mission that you're on. Your brain knows. And if you get lazy on it, your brain is going to be lazy on it, because your brain is going to say to you, you're not serious. I don't see you being serious. Your thoughts aren't serious. Your brain can see your consciousness. Your brain can see every thought in your consciousness. It can interpret every feeling with that thought, and it knows. You can't fool your brain into bringing you to become a millionaire, and you're not serious. It won't do it. You have to take it seriously. And then the second one he says is get smart. And when he talks about getting smart, what he's referring to is to study. Study what it is that you want to accomplish. You have that $1 million mission, then study what it takes in order for you to get and to complete that $1 million mission. Millionaires study all the time. They got books they're reading all the time. They don't think they know it all. They don't take it for granted that because they're millionaires, they're going to be there forever and they don't need to get any more information other than what they have. No, that's not the way millionaires think. They study because they want to be the best at what they're doing. Once they become a millionaire, then they want to become a billionaire. Once they learn one concept or one product, now they want to create another plethora of products that are even greater than the first one. They can't stop. It becomes an insatiable drive. They want to learn. You want to learn, you want to continue to go to trainings and workshops, just like we have this seminar right here, where you're here to learn. You want to continue to study it and to learn new things. Learn from your old mistakes. Learn from millionaires. Learn from their mistakes. Learn from people who are already where you want to go. Learn. When you can go, if you have the opportunity and you have the finance, and someone like Anthony Robbins or Bob Proctor or Les Brown or a very good speaker in enlightenment and inspiration is around you, go and listen. Because that is going to feed your psyche. That's going to feed your energy. That's going to help you to learn. It's going to help you to grow. It's going to help you to develop into something greater than you are presently. Wealth, the beginning of wealth is learning. The beginning of wealth is learning. And so that's why he said to get smart and come to the calls. Bring people to the calls. Listen to tapes. Listen to inspirational tapes. Read books. Read the books. And I mean, I'm going to tell you about another testimony before, once we get a little further into it. So do it over and over and over and over. I mean, if you read a book, just because you read the book doesn't mean you got it. Don't mean you understood it. Read it again. There's always something else that you can pick up in these books. I have a book right now that I'm going to present to you that I read back in 1992. I'm reading it again. And it's almost like it's just brand new. And I'm so delighted that I got that book back in it was 2002, 1992, 2002. I'm so delighted that I have this book before me. I was actually looking for another book, but this is the one that popped up. And I said, wow, okay. Oh, I forgot that I had that book. But I've been, reading it, and it's just been a joy. That's what it is about getting smart. Whenever you have the opportunity, take notes. Write down these things. Don't take for granted that you're going to remember it. You're going to write it down, because the more that we have these seminars, the more information you're going to accrue, and you want to be able to sit back and look over your notes and just read it and absorb it. Absorb more and more. The more you read, the more you're going to absorb. When you get the recording of this seminar, listen to it over and over again. And so that you can get what you need inside of you, inside of your brain. That's what he means by get smart. The third point is get going. And that means action is required by you. As you're being filled up with all of this information and knowledge about where it is you need to go and what processes you need to take and how you need to approach it, and you begin to mold your business plan around it. Now you need to go forward. Action is required. What action? Do what you can, when you can, and where you can. Whatever your mission is, never underestimate your ability for action, be it small or be it big. Sometimes you think that this small little this behavior or this particular thing that you might see yourself doing might not have any significance at all because it's so small, but you'd be surprised. Every action links to another action, and it begins to grow and build upon one another. Do what you can when you can. Do not procrastinate. Do not allow yourself to lose time. Let me tell you something. Time is not your friend. Time is not respective of a person, anyone, because time is going to keep moving. It's not going to stop for you because you said that what? I meant to do this in this time. You have to understand that you have to take advantage of the time. You've got to use your time wisely. And that means do not procrastinate. Do not slow down. Do not think that it's not required of you to perform right now, because it is. You do what you can when you can. Don't let neglect destroy your day, destroy your life, destroy your future, or make you end up with an empty bank account. It's time to get on top of neglect, and make sure you are creating action. Get going. In order for the seeds to be planted in the soil, you've got to plant those seeds yourself. Those seeds are not going to get there without you, because this is your mission. This is your life. This is your responsibility. And if you're serious about what you want to harvest, you're going to plant the seeds, because if you don't, then you have to accept whatever is planted in that soil for you. And that would be nobody's fault but yours. So you choose the seeds you want planted in the soil, and you plant them to make sure they're there, and you move forward on your mission. And then life will see that, and it will give you some extraordinary results. Your harvest will be worthy and you'll be happy. But if you don't see that harvest, it's not because you didn't have the opportunity. And when time is gone, that's it. You cannot recuperate it. You cannot go back in time to redo anything. So what you're doing right now with your life, that's it. Make it worth it. Every time you are moving around in your day, ask yourself, is this what I'm doing worth my time? Is this going to get me any further to becoming a millionaire, to be successful in my life, to make it more fulfilling? Is what I'm doing now going to take me there? If it isn't, stop. You know what that represents? Weeds in the garden. You know how you plant a garden? And the minute you plant that garden and the flowers start growing, you have bugs come around. It wants to eat. It wants to lay on the flowers and start eating away the petals. I have impatience, and I just love impatience because they grow into big, beautiful blossoms, bouquets. And but when they grow, here come the squirrels, here come the bugs. And I have to start working at protecting them, you know? And so all of this that I'm saying is you've got to care for your garden. You got to plant your garden. It's got to be action in terms of what you planning to do if you want to create a garden. Number 4, get better. Now, what that means is you got to strive to achieve to be better tomorrow than you are right now. It's not enough for you to strive. It's not enough for you to say you want to be a millionaire and then you sit back and turn the TV on and watch all these different movies. It's not enough for you to say, I have a mission and I want to make this mission worthy of my community, and I want to eradicate wealth, and I want to help people become more enlightened, and I want to help people to lead a higher quality of life. And then, you come home and then you just sit down and listen to music all day and you don't do anything else. But what it takes is certain applications for personal development, for personal growth. You got to learn how to engage in the activity of growing yourself inside, your consciousness, and outside. All of these things have to become refined, your communication, how you speak to people, how you're able to convey concepts to people. You want to be able to speak eloquently to people about your mission with Dynamic Trio. You don't want to just let it be right now that you're not comfortable talking to people or that you don't know how to present Dynamic Trio to people. Don't rest for that. You shouldn't rest or accept that. You should be every day doing something that's going to show you how you can speak to people to the point that next year you will be such a great speaker about the Dynamic Trio that you will be bringing people in by the droves to your mission, to your organization. Personal growth. And so what it takes for you is personal growth and personal development is to continuously have something in your ear that's going to help you grow in your mindset, take you away from negativity, take you away from sadness, take you away from anger, take you away from any of those things in your mind that makes you lose momentum in the establishment of your greatness. You are trying to bring out the power that's within you, the gifts that you have within you. Those things, in order to come out, they have to be nurtured. And so that's one thing about getting better. Strive to listen to those people that can help you get better, to help you overcome your weaknesses, your temperament, your tendency to be lazy, your tendency to accept less than what you really deserve. Those are the things that you strive to improve on every single day. Then you need to learn how to handle your seasons better. And we talk about seasons as winters and summers, winters and springs and summers. Winters are the hard times, and that's when things go wrong. That's when you have economic winters, when finances, go awry for you, or personal winters when heartbreaks happens and you can find it hard to get past those times, and political winters like we're experiencing now in our society with our president and with our politicians and the candidates that are running for presidency and all these kinds of things. These are different winters that represent in your life. When you're sick and you don't feel good, that's a winter, So You can't change the winters because winters happen in our lives. We don't, we don't know sometimes what is going to happen. We don't have the power to change everything that's going on politically. We don't have the power to always to change, people's minds and attitudes about us personally, but we can get better at handling our winters. That means don't give down. That means don't become so disillusioned in your mind and in your heart that you can't pursue your goal, that you can't give of your best to your mission. Never let those winters make you weak, but they should make you wiser and stronger and better. You can't change the winters, but you can change yourself. And that's what you have to recognize in terms, so learning how to handle the seasons better, and that's the winter. And then you have summers in life where you have to learn, as they say, summers is about learning to nourish and to protect. Nourish our values, take care of them, and feed them. In the summers, and that's when things are not so extreme, but now things are a little bit slow now. We don't have so much coming at us right now. We've got an open time, and that's when you take the time to nourish your value. That's a time of opportunity, but sometimes it's mixed with some difficulty because during that time, that summer, you may have some challenges. And those, while you're nourishing yourself, meaning while you are taking the time to strengthen your mind and begin to, learn and change and develop, you're going to have some resistance. You're going to have some resistance from the outside, who could be people, like Mark talked about, that were negative. People who want to tell you that, every time you come, you're pitching to me a project or something. So you're pitching to me this program now, or this is not going to do anything. I don't see where, someone that tells you, well, I don't see where Dynamic Trio is going to make me a millionaire. I don't believe it. You're going to have those kinds of people that are going to come to you, people in your family, people who are your friends. They're not always going to be in agreement with what you do. But you have to learn to defend yourself against that kind of imposition and talk. Jim Rohn calls them the enemies, because he says if it continues to be absorbed by you, it's going to slow you down. It's going to interfere with your progress. You got to make the decision whether you want to stay around and let it continue, or whether you're going to continue to walk and move forward. So you can have enemies on the outside, but you can have enemies on the inside too. And the enemies on the inside is your indifference. You're not willing to take action. Oh, I see your point. I see I agree with you. Okay, I think that's right. Let's do this. Let's go ahead. Let's put this information over here. Let's go over here and talk to these people over here. But then you don't make a step toward it. That's indifference. Indecisions, when you hold off on making decisions about your business. You know that you need to do something for your business. You know you need to call up maybe 3 or 4 people a day, but you don't do it. Well, I'll start doing it next month when I don't have this to do. Right now, I got this project to do right now. I got to take my daughter over here. Right now, I got to take my son over here or whatever. You let other things get in the way and you don't make a move toward it. Indecision. Doubt is another enemy. When you allow the doubt come into your mind and begin to take over and say, I don't think I'm really cut out for this millionaire stuff because I don't think I have the time. I don't think I have the ability. Oh, I didn't finish college. Oh, I didn't go to college. Oh, I don't think that I can do this because I don't have a doctorate degree. Or this person is better at speaking than I am. I don't think I can do that. That's doubt. You can't let doubt eat away at your self-esteem, at your ability for you to follow your path and to do your mission. Don't pick up those doubts. Have some courage. Believe in yourself. Don't doubt the possibilities. Don't doubt yourself. You have the miracle to change your life, and don't sell yourself short. The other thing that he talks about is point number 5, get stronger. Now, I like this. Develop the muscle. Develop a thick skin and do it. When I say a thick skin, that is, don't be so sensitive to criticism. Don't be so sensitive when somebody tells you, you didn't do that right. You should have said this word. How many ministers do I know have been in the pulpit and have spoken sermons, and their members have come to him and told you, you know, you use bad English. Somebody needs to edit your sermons for you. Or you didn't counsel this young lady correctly because she needed some help and you told her the wrong things. Criticism. Learn to let it bounce off of you. Don't let it stop you. Develop the muscle. Do it over and over. The more you continue to do those things of your mission over and over and over again, the stronger you become. You develop the muscle. What did Les Brown say when he was wanting to be a radio broadcaster? What did he do? He went home, he studied, and he practiced. They told him that he couldn't be a broadcaster. They told him they didn't have an offering. Didn't stop him. They told him they didn't have an opening. That didn't stop him. He went home and he kept practicing because in his mind, there was an opening somewhere. He just didn't know where it was. It wasn't his job to know where it was. It was his job to become refined, personally developed, to grow, to learn, to adapt, and to be worthy of the opportunity that was going to open up for him. And he was going to be ready for it. And sure enough, did that opportunity open for him. And when it opened, he took full advantage. He developed muscle. Those people that told him he couldn't do it, they told him he was slow in school. He had a twin. The twin was smarter than he was. They told him he could never reach the heights that he thought that he aspired to. But he didn't let that stop him because he was coached. Somebody got in his ear. The people that he respected, the people that were there where he wanted to go, he went and talked to them. He listened to them over and over and over again and let them tell him how the greatness in him could make his mission possible for him. And look where he is right now, $1 million speaker. This man never imagined that he was going to be where he is. Jim Rohn came from a farm. He was a little farm boy. I think he's from Idaho. And he never thought that he would be able to. Matter of fact, when he first got up, he was scared. He didn't want to do it, but he did it anyway. He said he did it when he was scared. He got up and spoke when he didn't feel good. He got up and spoke when he thought it wasn't going to work out right, but nevertheless, he spoke until the time came when he had a long arm, meaning that now he was able to get up and speak in front of crowds of thousands and thousands of people. And they would hang on his words, and his words were life-changing. His words were encouraging. His words were inspiring. His words changed the paths of many people. Today, even today, is still doing it. What would have happened if he would have let doubt get in his way? If he would have let indecision tell him, no, don't do it. It's not time right now. What would have happened if he would have listened to his friends who were negative and say, who's going to pay $1 million for you to speak? He certainly wouldn't have been where he is today. And there are others, Anthony Robbins. Same thing about him. He came from humble beginnings. But look where he is now. He started out, he was talking, doing seminars for 100, with 100 people. Now he has multiple thousands of people that he speaks to, that run to hear his words, hang on his words, that listen to him daily, whose lives he makes a difference in, whose lives he gives food of inspiration and growth and development and change. You can do it. If he can do it from his humble beginnings, of his mother running him out of the house with a shotgun, if Jim Rohn can do it, and he was a farm boy from Idaho, if Les Brown could do it and they called him slow, retarded, you can do it too. These are the things that Jim Rohn says will help you get a part of your $35 billion in year 2021. Get serious, get smart, get going, get better, get stronger, develop the muscle. Do it over and over and over again until you do it with excellence. That's what Jim Rohn had to share with us today.
I've got a new seriousness going for me. I could have quit and played a long time ago. When Mark and Larry called me, right? Hey, I'm semi-retired. I'm looking for the next exotic beach. And they said, no, you got to postpone all those plans. We got too big a job here. We got too important a task here, and nothing else you could do would touch more people's lives, render more value to the marketplace, give you greater satisfaction, chance to belong on an international championship team, and all the stuff that can happen here. No. We got some more things to do, Jim Rohn. Postpone it for a while. We'll have some fun along the way, and we'll enjoy each other along the way, and we'll have some good times along the way. Last night was part of it, some good times along the way, but I'm telling you, they were right. It was too early for me to cash it in. It was too early. I needed this kind of incredible incentive to be a part of something so extraordinary, and I gladly said yes. And I'm going to do my part. I'm going to pick up the task here. The 90s is going to see a brand new Jim Rohn, willing to make the studies, willing to make the commitment, willing to do the learning, find better ways to choose the words, find better ways to reach inside, get heart and soul, mix it all together, and make an impact on people. When I come to your country, when I come to your city, when I come to your village, when I come to your community, I want to come with some new skills. I want to come with some new power. I want to come with the refinement of language and spirit and heart and soul, and make a contribution, not just on this platform with the lights shining and the television cameras running. I want to do it because you deserve it. For the commitment that you're making out there in the marketplace, I want to back it up with the best skills I can possibly bring to help serve you in the marketplace and to help serve Herbalife. New commitment from me.
And that is what we are trying to do for you right now. Back you up, giving you all the backing that you need in order for you to become successful, a millionaire or a billionaire even so. So let's go on to the next subject here. And I kind of went over with my time with Jim Rohn, but what I'm going to do here is very briefly talk to you about this book that we're going to be talking about for the next few seminars, the next few Mondays. We're going to be talking about excerpts. We're going to be going through and learning from this book called The 1 Minute Millionaire. This was the New York's best time seller in the year 2002. It was written by Mark Victor Hansen. He was the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I think many of you know about that book because it was just extremely popular. And also Robert G. Allen, who was the author of Nothing Down and Creating Wealth. Now, the 1 Minute Millionaire, this book went like crazy. People loved it, not only because of what he was saying and his method of teaching you how to think and act and become a millionaire in a short time. It was also because of the way it was written. And I really had to give it to him. He wrote it in such a way it was easy read and easy reading. He had just to show you how good and well thought of this book was, of course, he sold about 500 million copies of this book. He had some comments written by Robert Kiyosaki. He says, Mark and Bob are geniuses. I've learned a lot from them, and you will too. He's Robert Kiyosaki was the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then Stedman Graham, president and CEO of Graham and Associates, he said, freedom is about knowing who you are, believing in yourself, and applying both these things to American free enterprise system so you can achieve millionaire status. This book is a must. Art Linkletter wrote, bravo, excellent story coupled with simple wealth building techniques. This book abolishes the question, how did you get rich? Now, what we're going to be studying is these concepts here, the 24 principles of the enlightened millionaire, the power of one great idea, the 7 money skills of extremely prosperous people, how to develop multiple streams of income, the 6 forms of leverage, the 10 most powerful techniques for buying real estate, and the essentials of marketing success. Now, I read this book, I went through and I'm looking at, and I know I thought I read it thoroughly because I got all of these bookmarks and stuff everywhere. But as I went through this book, it was just phenomenal how basic he makes this millionaire agenda. Very easy and simple for a person to read. So we're going to go through this. We're going to start on this study next week. There's so much that I want to give you that it's kind of hard for me to get it all into an hour. But I just want you to hear just a little bit from this Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote the 1 Minute Millionaire. And you can get a little bit of a glimpse of his philosophy on life and his approach to, they want to make millionaires. That's his goal. His goal is to make as many millionaires as possible. He feels that is going to change the economy in of itself. So let's take a listen to this.
Study self-help action books.
Thanks for joining us.
My great pleasure. Thank you. And I'm elated.
Well, Mark, I'm elated that you're here because I know that it's your personal mission to create millionaires. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say that can help us create financial abundance.
My goal is to create 1 million millionaires, and there's one right, easy, and perfect, acceptable way to each and every one of us. You know, because there's a million ways to make 1 million, and there's one for you, one for everybody. That's what's so astounding. And if you look around, you can see that that's true.
Mark, you've been working for years teaching people how to create financial abundance and achieve success. What do you believe are some of the biggest mistakes we make when it comes to creating wealth?
Well, first of all, I think the biggest mistake is you don't study self-help action books. And all of us are born over and endowed with 18 billion brain cells, but they have to be laser beam focused on the fact that you want to be a millionaire, and you got to write down a little 3x5 card and carry it in your pocket wrapped in a $100 bill so you feel prosperous, and don't spend a $100 bill unless there's an emergency. But it's got to say, I'm so happy I'm on schedule to make $1 million by doing X that's acceptable, believable, understandable, and achievable. In my case, Jack and I, when we wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, we now sold 500 million books. It took us 3 years to write the book, and nobody wanted to publish it, 144 rejections, but we spouses said, get out of here, this isn't going to work. Don't you guys believe, smart people? And no, you got to own your own stuff. And we owned that we were going to sell 1.5 million in a year and a half. Came out June 28th, 1993. And we said, in a year and a half, by Christmas time, we'll sell 1.5 million. Well, truth is, we were a little short. We sold 1.3 million. But then next year we said we'd sell 5 million, and then 10 million, and then 15. And you keep doing that, and pretty soon you sell 500 million books.
You say that anyone has the ability to become a millionaire. Are there characteristics that most millionaires share?
They have a total 100% belief in themselves. They decide that their work ethic is unrequited. So to somebody that doesn't understand their pragmatism, they look ruthless.
So Mark, what do you say to someone who's listening right now, who is ready to become a millionaire and has a dream, but when he or she shares that dream with other people, there's always someone that has a negative comment or tries to belittle that person's dream? What do you say about those types of comments?
That's God's favor to you to make you stronger, not weaker. And they're usually called relatives, they're usually called associates, or sometimes called business partners, or sometimes called spouses and kids, family, and parents, right? And are you going to get resistance, which is what you said just a minute ago? Yeah, the resistance is to make you strong enough so but by the time you get big, you can handle all kinds of resistance that you couldn't have handled when you're weak. Like when you're, in elementary school, you're learning the ABCs. But most people can't write, Shakespeare yet. As you keep going, you get to have the ability to, be a creative, innovative writer, a creative innovator.
You created the Millionaire equation. What is it, and how important is this process in creating wealth?
Well, the distilled essence of it is you've got to figure out what you want. So you say, and we use Henry Ford, I want an automobile. Then you got to write down all the things that you would do in that process to get from here to there. Then you've got to get a team together, and we acronym the word team. Together everyone accomplishes miracles. And then you put it together, and then you got to go execute. Today, to become a millionaire in what we call a disruptive exponential economy, you've got to be able to have a disruptive product that is actually superior, innovative, and different.
Mark, in a lot of your work, you refer to enlightened millionaires, and it's my belief that the old way of doing business is over, that kill or be killed or all is fair in business mentality. I believe that it's being replaced with a spirit of collaboration and partnership. Do you agree? Do you believe that that's a new trend?
Yep. I think there's still a lot of killer instinct in a lot of people, so I'm saying it's not over. The warrior spirit is certainly not gone from humanity, and it comes out of being fearful. And once you have enough, you start to become more faithful, meaning that if you're 100% full of faith, that you can do something, you're going to do it, because the law of vibration, and we're all vibrational beings in a vibrational universe. The law of attraction says what you think of. My cliche would be what you think about comes about. So in my case, I wanted to be world's best-selling author. You keep thinking about it, and bingo, we are. And now I want to be the guy that brings clean, green, sustainable energy to the world, with solar, wind, hydro, in-stream auger turbines, and some pulsating wave technology, so we have ample water, because the wars in the world are going to be fought over water and energy. And I said, well, I'm big enough, strong enough, connected enough that I can do something about it. So that's my new vision, and we're executing that with my company, Metamorphosis Energy, which we can talk about later. I didn't mean to get off the topic.
No, Mark, but I'm glad you did, because I think that there's an important point here. Many of us were raised with the thought that money is evil, or if you want too much of it, you're greedy. But really what you're saying here is that money it's just an exchange, and there's nothing wrong with having it and wanting a lot of it, because when you do have a lot, like the type of work that you do, you have the opportunity to help others, to give back, and that really makes money a good commodity.
Right, because money is a spiritual substance, and the line is actually the love of money is root all evil. Meaning if all you're obsessed about is money, like Scrooge was in that great Charles Dickens story we all had to read in high school, that's it. If all you do is obsess over, if I have enough money, I'll have power, which is, it is an amazingly, greed is a sickness, and all of us have a greed gland, but you need to be able to monitor and temper your greed glands to say, am I doing this in an honest, ethical, moral, uplifted, omni-beneficial, meaning all beneficial way for myself, for humanity, for the future, and for the legacy that I'm going to leave, because we're all creating a legacy.
And when you have the opportunity to earn money, it is our obligation to give back. I mean, look at the work you do. You support various charities such as the March of Dimes, Habitat for Humanity, the American Red Cross. It is an obligation for us to give back when we have abundance.
Right. I believe the triangle that we teach in the book is you got to learn, then you got to earn, and you got to return. And I believe from the get-go, you got to return 10%. Now, after you pay your taxes, you're still supposed to do, 10% to whatever it is that you believe is right. If that's spiritual, then it's your church, temple, synagogue. It is to the charities like we've done that, and then you're supposed to get into a surplus zone where you can take care of, like I'm still working with Habitat for Humanity here where I live in Arizona. I just did a fundraising talk called Innovative Philanthropy Forum, and now we're doing the same thing with the Audubon Society and a lot of other people, but all of them are necessary. The March of Dimes, everyone, and what you want to do is be big, strong, and then helpful. When the Red Cross was out of blood, we came out with Chicken Soup for the Soul, the third helping, and we dedicated 10% of the profits in that to the Red Cross. But because they're out of blood, I was working with chiropractic so much. I asked all the chiropractors at the time, I think there's 77,000. I said, look, you guys and ladies have all been my friends, been my seminars. I've taught you how to run $1 million practices. What I'd like you to do, and we did a Chicken Soup for the chiropractic soul. What I'd like you to do, though, is call 800-GIVE-LIFE. That's still the number for the Red Cross. And if you've never given blood, give it, because someday if you need blood or your kid needs blood or your spouse, if there's no blood in the end, we don't have pseudo blood yet, so you're called dead. This is like a silly idea. All of us can give blood. Just at least once in your life, you ought to give, a pint of blood. It makes you younger, actually, because it creates new cells. So I got them to send out to their 25 million monthly customers that had been deactivated and said, come in, give a pint of blood this day or this week, and we'll reactivate you. And it's free. It's free adjustment. And all the chiropractors did it, and we got 1.5 years worth of blood cryogenically frozen. And we went from dehydrated with one idea to rehydrated. Now, you say, does that cause wealth? Well, we sold so many books. We sold 1 year's worth of books in a month that was happening just because everyone said, wow, these guys are really good. I ought to really read that book. And we solved a problem that no one else could solve. So you take two negatives, no sales for my book at that time, because it was a brand new book, and no blood in the end.
And it becomes a win-win.
Yeah, they won, I won. The point is we're at the most exciting time in history, and media would show it's the most negative time in history. It's actually the most positive if you're awake, because an entrepreneur says, hey, wait a second, how do I turn this negative into an opportunity? Well, all it takes is one idea. And my teacher in graduate school was Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller, Einstein's best student. Dr. Fuller said real wealth, which is what we're talking about here, is R, real wealth. RW equals I times E, ideas times energy. Well, you have the idea, and then you use all that vital life force energy of your mind, your heart, your soul, and you inspire somebody else to help you, and pretty soon you pull off magic. I mean, it was my idea to do this thing for the Red Cross. Red Cross had the services, had the mobiles that would go out to the doctor's offices, scheduled it, and they couldn't believe people were lined up to give blood. Everyone listening are here to create. Now, you can create a lousy life and do the same thing, or you can go say, hey, wait a second. If I was really using my vital spirit and I want to look back on it, what is it that I would like to create and have a juicy, zesty, exciting life that looms with possibility, interesting people, nice travel, and just be excited at the fiber of my being. That's what it seems. That's what you're here to be.
Okay, Mark, so someone's been listening to you, and that person's...
Okay, guys, we're going to stop this. I know you would like to listen to more of it, but that gives you an idea of who this author is that we're going to be studying, the 1 minute
says, okay, I'm sold.
Millionaire.
I'm ready. I'm going to change my life.
Let me move this on to the next page. All right, and this is just a kind of brief outline of how they have like a flow chart in terms of becoming a millionaire. We're going to be going through this flow chart. As you can see here, why become a millionaire? You need to do two things. You need only two things: desire, willingness to act. We're going to go through this flow chart, and we're going to go through this. It's like 2 pages. We're going to go through it all the way to the end. So you'll have an understanding of the process that you're going to need to employ in order to move yourself along this millionaire path. You need a strategy. And so we're going to learn about the strategy that Mark Victor Hansen employs in the 1 Minute Millionaire. And it's a real easy strategy, and it's like I said, an easy read, a good read, and you'll enjoy it. Now, last but not least, I'm going to leave you with this. It's really important for you to ask the right questions. And in terms of you become a millionaire, you want to ask the right questions. How do I earn or create $1 million? That's the right question. How do I get a job, salary, or work? That's the wrong question. Or can I earn $50,000 doing this? That's the wrong question. How can I create the best industry, the best way of eradicating poverty in the world? That's the right question. So when, the size of your question determines the size of your result. Questions predetermine the answer. For instance, Ben Feldman, I don't know if any one of you are acquainted with him, but Ben Feldman was the greatest insurance salesman of all time. And he taught his students, this one particular student that he was trying to break down, when goal orientations, it's good for you to break it down so that people can understand it. Ben Feldman said that the difference between earning $100,000 a year and $1 million per year is 10. When you make it easy to your mind, simplify it to your mind, it makes it easier for your mind to make it happen for you. Most people don't ask the $1 million earning, inventing, innovating, or generating or creating questions. They don't ask those kinds of questions. They ask the different kind of questions like, how do I get a job, salary, or work, which are, really the kind of wrong questions if you really want to become an entrepreneur, a leader, a millionaire. And those people that are asking those questions are living below their true potential. So what I'd like for each one of you to do is to create the question, the right question for yourself that you want to ask for you to achieve your goals. And then that question that you ask, then what I want you to ask yourself is, if your life depended upon it, could you do it? If your loved one's life depended upon it, could you do it? Because your will, your push within you, which is exemplified by what we call the will determine your ability to get it done. And so I want you guys to dream. I want you guys to dream big. I want you to expand your mind and your imagination, because one thing that I'm leaving this last thing with you that Mark Victor Hansen says, he says, when the will comes in conflict with the imagination wins out. When this part of you, the reasoning, the rationalization part of you comes in conflict with your imagination is going to win. That's why it's important for you to use your imagination. Give your mind pictures of what you want it to accomplish, and that will happen. So we're going to stop here, and we're going to continue going. We're going to delve into this 1 Minute Millionaire book next week, next Monday. So I want you guys to be prepared, ready. I don't know how many of you guys have a pencil and paper or an ink pen or paper, but I'd like for each one of you to get a journal. And in this journal, I want you to start using this journal to take notes about your path and what we're doing here in this particular Millionaire series, and what strikes you important to you, so that you can go over these notes at the end while you also listen to this video. When you write things down, it's like writing things down in the ether. It's like writing things down in your destiny. And so that's the reason why I'm asking you. I want you to I want an exchange here. I want some actual interplay here between all of us, so that you can begin to experience in terms of the practicum how you can inch yourself toward this millionaire and this millionaire journey. And we're not going to stop at just that. As I said, in October, we're going to start on our first workshop, and I'm going to present that to you within next week sometime, so that you'll know what this workshop is about. And you'll see that is where you really are going to do the work, but it's life-changing work. We want to do things that you can see positive results right away, and not years later, not months later, but right now. We want you to see yourself getting better and better and better by the day. Okay? So we're going to close up here. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to see if there are any questions or there are any remarks that you have before we close up. If you're on the phone, you can always do a mute 6. I'm sorry, not mute. Star 6. And if you're here in the room, you can just click off on the mic if you have any comments or any questions.